The Vikings apparently want to trade up for quarterback Bryce Young. All right, welcome back to Onebar and Lupagus Show. I am Lupagus, and Tom Pelissero reporting today the Vikings wanted to move up in the 2023 NFL Draft for one prospect only, and that prospect was quarterback Bryce Young. Before we get into that, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the vids, comment as well. We'd love to know what you guys are hearing, and don't forget, if you haven't yet, move your Patreon subscription over to YouTube membership. We are just going with YouTube moving forward, so if you haven't done that yet, be sure to make that swap, and if you want to still become a member, hit the join now button below. You will see that in the description. So interesting here, Vikings news rumblings that they were willing to move up in the draft if Bryce Young fell past number 1. If he would have been there at 2, the Vikings would have been calling and giving up the future to get him because he was the man. He was the man they wanted. And I think this is important for multiple reasons. Number one, they identified the guy they wanted. They identified the best prospect in the NFL draft. Bryce Young, pretty much the consensus by everybody, most accurate, most battle tested, can do the work with his legs if he has to. But throws a perfect ball, good accuracy, and that SEC, you love that he played in that conference. So that was the top quarterback. They wanted him. They would only go up for him. They wouldn't settle for anybody else. Maybe they like CJ Stroud. But they weren't going to trade up just to trade up to get a quarterback. They weren't going to trade up just to make people wet and make a splash. They wanted Bryce Young, and that was it. They didn't want Anthony Richardson, didn't want to deal with this upside project either that Richardson is. So that maybe just show you the type of prospect they're looking for, one who's ready to start sooner than later and not have, maybe be a 2 window like Richardson probably really needs before he's ready to see the field. So interesting that that's the prospect that identified. That's the one they wanted, and that's the only one that they would want. So I also enjoy the fact that they had a price tag limit. Like they weren't going to go way the hell up. I mean, obviously they're not going to be able to trade with the Panthers, who already made the trade for the first pick. But they said Bryce Young gets a 2. We're making the jump. So I like that. I like everything about that. And it's also the number 2 thing I think to take away here is this shows this regime is they're willing to move up to get their guy. You project this forward for the 2024 draft. Caleb Williams, Drake May, top 2 consensus quarterbacks at this time. Yes, it's May 9th, 2023. Who knows how things shake out next year, but those are projected to be the top 2 guys. If the Vikings are picking, 16, 22, it doesn't matter. They will move up to get one of these guys if that's who they identify and that's who they have to have. So they are a team that will make that sacrifice, that's willing to give up future draft capital to go up and get their quarterback of the future if they deem him a good fit for their system and the best prospect available. I think the other takeaway from this is, and the last one really, is that these rumors that we heard prior to the draft, the Vikings wanting to move up for a quarterback, apparently they're true. We didn't know it was just one option. We didn't know that Bryce Young was that only guy that they wanted to go up and get. We thought maybe Richardson, we thought maybe CJ Stroud, but apparently there was one quarterback that they wanted to go up and get. So the rumors that came out, and we always talk about it around draft time, this is all smoke and mirrors. Teams are putting false information out there, but this is one case that's proven to be true. The Vikings truly were willing to move up to get Bryce Young if he wasn't the first overall pick. So again, next year when we're thinking about the draft, talking about the draft, doing all these months of speculation, let's just remember some of these rumors that come out do have some teeth to them, do have some merit, and do have some validity. So Bryce Young, Vikings wanted him, couldn't get him, but the fact that they were willing to move up and make that jump, I think it's a breath of fresh air and something this Viking fan base needs, and I think something this Vikings team needs moving forward. Yes, it's going to suck losing those draft picks in the future when you have to pay the piper and not have your pick and watch the first round without making the selection. But to get a quarterback like a Pat Mahomes, like a Josh Allen, even a Justin Herbert, somebody you can make your franchise and know that you have your guy for the next 8 years, that's huge. That's huge. And there's not a price that's too high to pay for that. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about Bryce Young and the Vikings willing to move up? Does it excite you? Does it make you upset? Do you wish it would have happened? Let me know. And also remember to keep your skull in your hole.